gingerbread houses. All right, Maslow. We're a record archive. There's records as far as you can see everywhere. That's Brandon. Hold up what you found there. Already a gem. Work's getting done. Oh, the Gil Malay. All right, Alex, we're in the bop shop basement. There's a lot of circular discs down here that have recorded music items on said discs. We might get into some trouble down in these parts. All right, Maslow, it's beers time in here. Morning, VC. Turn this down a little bit. All right. Big Rochester trip. The usual at this time of year. Got a lot of records to show that I picked up in Rochester, New York. And then I also have some records, first off, that I picked up here at Repo across the street. So yeah, a lot of records. So we'll jump into it. First record I found at Repo. I think I got these maybe a day or two before I left for New York. I hadn't been into Repo in a few weeks, so I figured maybe they might have some stuff in the used, and they did. And I think most of these were like $8. So I picked these up. This is Thad Jones and Mel Lewis. With the UMO group, the New Music Orchestra, which is a Finnish group, large ensemble. I mean, there's a ton of players listed here. And this was recorded in Helsinki in 1977 on the RCA label. I've got a couple other records of Thad Jones and Mel Lewis, and they're incredible. Even with a large group, it's really kind of pushing things. Yeah, this is excellent. Really dig this Finnish group with these guys. The first song is called Groove Merchant. Really cool. And this is a not for sale demo copy. Show you the RCA label. And yeah, $8. Classic RCA with the dog. In beautiful shape. I think this record belonged to Gene. He's a big digger, DJ in this town. He has a warehouse full of records that's legendary. He supplies records to DJs, like big time DJs. So he sold a bunch of his records to Repo, and luckily I've been able to pick some of these like this up cheap. And interestingly, there's going to be a lot of different genres in this video. So if you're here just for jazz or here just for whatever, you're going to get a bunch of different stuff. There's a bunch of country records this time, believe it or not, because they were good deals and in beautiful condition, like just mint. Like this, there is only one Roy Orbison on the MGM label from 1965. Just a mint original copy of this. First press stereo. I didn't have any Roy, so we added some Roy. It still has the original inner, advertising the other records they have, like Count Basie. There's that beautiful MGM label. And then next, sticking with kind of the country theme, Marty Robbins, Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs on Columbia. I've been meaning to get a copy of this. Been hoping to find early press. This is not a 6i original, but a 2i, the first version of the 2i. Big Iron, Billy the Kid, a classic record. Happy to get a really nice copy of this. I'll show you and again, these are all like $8. This one's pretty much unplayed. I mean, there's not a mark on it that I can tell. And I'm looking forward to getting into these records this weekend. Just got back and had to work, and then was on this bum stream last night, so I've been pretty busy. So I got a lot of listening to do with all these records coming up. Got one playing now. We'll show you here later in the video what this is that's playing. It's fantastic. Again, $8. David Bowie, Station to Station, an original US. It's got some ringware, but this is one of my favorite David Bowie records. This is a record that John Digital Gramophone gave me for Christmas one year, a really great reissue. This sounds phenomenal. And to find an original for $8, I figured what the hell. Since I really love this record, I think it's this, Dynaflex. Still had the original inner in nice shape. And yeah, that RCA label there, first US. I don't know. I don't think these go for a whole lot, but I was like, wow, $8. Yeah, that's coming home. Great songs on this one. Yeah, I dig this whole record pretty much. And then this was from the Jeff Clayton collection, of course, from Anti-Scene, and Repo's kind of their home shop. He's always bringing by records of theirs to sell, and then he sold a lot of his personal collection recently. Another piece from it, The Leather Nun, Slow Death. The second cover, I think this was pressed in the UK. I believe this is a Swedish or Finnish band. I can't remember. It might be Swedish. Kind of, I don't know if it's got goth to it or punk. I haven't listened to anything yet, but this was a good deal, so I picked this up. Kind of a blind buy. It's recorded live in 1980, so 80s punk from that region of the world, you can't really go wrong. So I grabbed that. We'll show you the label on this. Not something you see every day. On Wire Records. label on the back. And again, a lot of these records are just in beautiful shape. This is mint condition on the record. Sleeves a little bit worn, but record nice. And I really went in there to see again what RSD stuff they had left, and they still had all the jazz, except they did finally sell their second copy of Sun Ra. So I picked up the Cecil Taylor live at the Cafe Montmartre in where's it? Copenhagen in Denmark. Cecil Taylor, Jimmy Lyons, Sonny Murray, an iconic performance. I've got the Arista Freedom, which has a different cover. I'll show you that. Which they renamed it Nefertiti. The Beautiful One Has Come. That sounds fine, but I picked this up for a couple reasons. One, it's got the original artwork. Two, I had gotten the Sahib Shahab on this ORG Music label, and sounds incredible. They did a great job with the remaster or whatever they did with it. And so this, I'm looking forward to. This is an intense one. Cecil Taylor. Yeah, what a great trio this was. So next I got two that came in via the mail while I was in New York. One, Dom had kindly sent me a link to, is a record I've been looking for, and I was able to get it directly from the artist. I believe he's in his 80s now. He's still in the UK, and that's Peter Lemmer, and this is the Ascilla 80 record, a kind of a private pressing LP. This is much different than his ESP disc offering, which is a top 5 jazz record all time for me, with him on piano. He's playing this keyboard, and there's a lot of African musicians, so a lot of percussion. This one gets out there and strange, but I dig it. Digging Sun Ra, it's kind of easy for me to get into this, but it was really kind of him. He autographed a note. Thanks, David, from Pete. That's with a smiley face. Really cool, and really cool looking labels. So, brand new copy, dead stock, that he's got for a fraction of the price of what it goes for online, as far as like Discogs. So yeah, there's a website you can go just for Peter Lemmer stuff, and he sent it himself. So happy to support the artist directly. Really cool. And then this is a record that Shervid showed a long time ago, and I started checking out this band, and I dug it. I'm not into blues rock too much, but I really dug what I heard with this band. So I've already found the live record from one of the big festivals in the UK, and then I just got this from Permanent in LA, of all places. Taste, self-titled, on Atco. Original copy of this. This was cheap. This is in perfect shape. Really happy to get this. Really dig the guitars. I'm a guitar guy. Really, really dig the song structure. Excellent stuff. It still has the original inner, on the Atco label. Great condition on this. Usually these are beat to shit. This one's in really nice shape, and was a good price. Lance been posting a lot of records again for sale. I think the first side's already over on that record, so we'll flip the record here. We should be able to let you know what it is here shortly. So to the New York trip, first of all, I went over to my brother's house, and my mom wanted me to pick her up a CD at Record Archive if I could find it. And my brother's like, I have that upstairs. So we went upstairs in the attic, and he pulled out a box of CDs, and then he reached way in the back, and in the cobwebs pulled out a box of cassettes. And we took them downstairs and looked through everything, and we found the CD for my mom. And we found a Christmas CD, which was good timing, and took that home and played that. But I found this tape in the box in the attic, the first Fugazi album on cassette. It's missing the cover, or the case, and his buddy had painted Fugazi on it, because I think it had faded off. But it still plays. And this is rare. I think there's like one copy on the internet for maybe $13 or something, but it's also missing the case. And then there's no copies with the case. There's like 3 versions, and there's none available, at least on Discogs. So, and he let me take it, so that's badass. I was very stoked to find that. So, the New York crew, we always meet up starting at Record Archive. Dom, myself, Brandon, and Joe. Joe from Analog Archive, Brandon Faust in the Head, Dom, of course, from Seeking and Thread, and myself here at Local Bandography. However, Dom could not make it this year. He was in Utica and not Ithaca. Utica's a bit farther away, another half hour out, so he was 2 hours away, and with family, day after Christmas. So he couldn't pull it off this year, unfortunately. But Brandon came from Buffalo, and Joe was already visiting his parents. I think we're in the Rochester area. So yeah, we hit up Record Archive. There were a couple pieces that I had already scoped out on Discogs, and you get a discount when you buy in store. A significant discount, actually. And so I knew I'd probably pick up 1 or 2 of those items. I also looked at Bob Shop's Discogs. And, when you go to Rochester, I can always go to Bob Shop and spend all my money on one record with Tom, because he has rare, great shit. Or I can do a dig and get a lot of records. And so I usually have to sort that out. And the last bunch of years, I've just decided I'm going to get a stack of records. I'm not going to spend all my money on one rare record. Tom has a bunch of original Al Saturns. He's had them for a couple years now. His prices, actually a couple of them are fair, but it's a lot of money for one record. So I was like, screw it, I'm just going to get a bunch of records. And we walk into, and I'll put some clips here of stuff in this video somewhere, maybe in the front end or the back end. I haven't decided yet. You'll see some video of the wall at Record Archive and the wall at Bob Shop. The wall at Record Archive, immediately a copy of Todd the Elderweed from Alice Coltrane stuck out. It was minty looking and a great price, and Brandon immediately claimed that. And so that was great. I have a copy that I got from Dylan for $50, but it's got a bunch of ringware, and it's a VG copy, but it plays pretty damn good. So I'm happy with it. But that was a killer one for Brandon to find. And then I had this record on my mind, actually, and there it is on the wall, a sealed original in perfect shape, Soundgarden Ultra Mega OK. And this was a great price, and so I had the lady get on the ladder and pull this down off the wall, and I couldn't be more stoked. Beyond the Wheel is my favorite Soundgarden song, and it's on this record, and I've only ever had the CD. Never had this one on vinyl, on SST Records, so original from 1988, still sealed. And I mean, it looks like it's going to be perfect, so I was stoked. And then this is the one that they had on Discogs, and as it turns out, they had a ton of records on these labels. So they had gotten a big collection of Italian Pressed Jazz, Soul Note, Black Saint, Red Record. There was a bunch of Muse. Somebody had dumped a really great collection of that stuff, and this was the bigger one, Old and New Dreams, a tribute to Blackwell. The last I needed from this band, with Don Cherry. Really excited to get this. This was at one point imported into Montreal, Canada by Distribution Fusion 3. Has that sticker, kind of like a Rick Ballard sticker. So that was where it was imported to from Italy, and now I have it. I'll show you the iconic Black Saint label. It's a gorgeous copy. Just beautiful copy. Original inner. Yeah, this is real happy to find any Black Saint records. So we got that, and they took $10 off for getting it off of their Discogs. And then Brandon was digging through all the jazz, and he was up ahead of me, so he was kind of pulling. He has this habit of pulling records. He's like, okay, somebody needs to buy this, and so he'll just kind of set it up, so it's kind of sticking out, and so it's, you don't. He just makes it easy for you, and he did that with this record, and so I bought it. John Shakai and Pierre Dorge, Ball at Louisiana Museum of Modern Art, original on Steeplechase from Denmark. Anything John Shakai, I'm all in, and I think another record with the two of them too, and it's fantastic. Pierre Dorge is on guitar and percussion on this. There is some vocal from both of them. 1983 on Steeplechase. John Shakai, he's on alto here. Beautiful. And then this is one that I think Brandon considered purchasing, and then he passed it over to me. Bakita Carroll, Shadows and Reflections on Soul Note. One I've been looking for. One Sherv, I believe, has. Great group. Julius Hemphill on alto and tenor. Anthony Davis piano. Dave Holland bass. Firon Aklaf on drums, who I'm not familiar with, but I guess has played. Notes and Tones told me last night who he played with, and I forgot already. Okay, we'll show you the Soul Note label while we're here. Showing labels. There's your Soul Note label. And these are all in beautiful condition from this collection. Someone took care of these records. And really happy to see them for fair prices too, in the bins at Record Archive. And then Joe showed up, and he put this one in my hands, and it was still sealed, and the corners were bent from it being sealed, so I was worried about this possibly being warped, but it was only $12, so I picked it up. Warren Smith and Toki, Duologue on the A side, Heritage on the B. That's what we're listening to, and this is absolutely fantastic. Free jazz duo. Warren Smith on drums and Hidefumi Toki on alto sax and soprano sax. I'm loving this. This is a favorite find, definitely, for cheap. So that's everything from Record Archive, other than I got one CD from there also off of the Discogs. She took $3 off. Peter Brotzman live in Copenhagen with Steve Swell and Paul Nilsson Love. So looking forward to listening to this. I'm not sure exactly when this was recorded. Let's see, 2016. So not too far back. Some later Brotzman. I love picking up any of his stuff that I don't have on CD. So great start. We had, I think, 4 record stores planned. Record Archive really delivered this year. And then got over to Bop Shop. I didn't get any heavy pieces as far as jazz is concerned, as I did put hands on those Sunrise Saturns, and I may work a deal with Tom soon to get one of them. He kindly offered me free shipping and a discount, so I'll be getting back with him on that. But I did pull one off the wall. This Black Flag 12-inch. Keep it in the family. I've never seen this, and it was the right price, and it's a mint copy. So I grabbed this. Not sure what all I'm in for on this one. It might be some of this. Well, it's got Slip It In and Family Man, I think, which is spoken word. But yeah, white label. 12-inch. Beautiful. I mean, this is just minty shape on the record on this. So I had to get it. He has got a bunch of good metal and punk in, oddly enough. I think that's the end of our record. Great one. Moving on. This was sitting on the end of the bin, or end of the end cap where they have the electronic and experimental stuff. And I just saw that it said Space Guitars, and so I grabbed it. American Contemporary Alan Bryant on the CRI label, New Directions, Space Guitars. Love the cover. Yeah, original copy. It's got the WBFO written on it for the radio station in Buffalo. So this belonged to that radio station at one point, and it's in great shape. It was looks like a hole punch promo of some type. Composer's Recording Ink. Beautiful shape. Alan Bryant. Space Guitars. I can't wait to listen to this one. This one's going on next today. Although I'm going to play that again. That Toki LP is phenomenal. What a cheap heat record that is. So yeah, Space Guitars. Some different stuff. Again, Brandon's going through the jazz up ahead of me and leave stuff sitting out, and he left this one sitting out, and I bought it. Leroy Jenkins, Space Mines, New World, Survival of America on Tomato. Some great violin playing here. Big selling point for me was Andrew Sorrell on percussion, and then Richard Teitelbaum on modular Moog and micro Moog systems. That's got to be interesting to throw that in the mix. Looking forward to listening to this one. So that's what I got upstairs at Bob's shop, and then of course you have to go into the basement. And again, I'm going to throw footage in here of the Bob shop basement. It's epic. It's the entire length of the building. You can get lost down there. Everything's really well organized though on the shelves, alphabetical and genre. And there's just a ton of copies of things. Like the John Coltrane section is immense. And it's a lot of it's doubles. He'll have a really good copy upstairs in the bins, and then 5 or 6 copies more downstairs. It kind of blows your mind. But usually there's a couple boxes sitting on the floor or in the middle that is stuff that hasn't really quite been processed yet and filed. So, from new collections they've bought. And I always find something in those boxes. And yet again, found another one. This was in the first box I went through. This is Phil Woods and his European Rhythm Machine, and I have never seen this one. And I noticed who the players were. Gordon Beck from the UK on electric piano, organ. Henry Texier from France on acoustic bass and flutes and African percussion. Daniel Humer on drums from Switzerland. It's just a fucking super group, man. And I've got another record of this group, and it's killer. Just cheap heat, and this was like $10 or something. And it's on this Inner City label from New York that I've never seen before. Maybe an early Inner City label, not sure. Or maybe it's Inner City in a different label called Inner City. Haven't been able to get any of this onto Discogs yet. Still settling in, so we'll have to do some research on this. It's in great shape. So happy to find that. Great players on that. Could just be, it's 1002. Could be like an early Inner City title. I don't know. And then I wanted to look to see what Teramaso Hino records he had downstairs, and he had just a couple left. And this one I know is a little more in the cheesier vein, a little later on in what he did, but I love the cover. And again, I looked at the players, and Nana Vasconcelos is all over this. And it's a promo, and I wasn't leaving it behind. It's in great shape. City Connection from Teramaso Hino, great trumpet player. It's a gatefold. A lot of cool photos here. Pretty big group. I think I think Dave Liebman's on this, but it's on Inner City. Kind of a custom Inner City label, which you don't see very often. Yeah, this is in great shape too. I think I ended up paying $15 for this one, with it being a promo and all that, which might have been a little high, but happy to find it in the basement at Bob. And then we were looking for the experimental section, didn't quite find it, but we did run into the classical section, and then I think down and over from that is the Indian and world section. So I flipped through the Indian records real quick, and I found this one, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Ragmala on the Connoisseur Society label, and it's got a note on the front that side 1 is cracked. So I looked at the record to see if I could, see what the problem is here, and it's Ali Akbar Khan on Sarad and Mahapurush Misra on tabla. I love this combination, and I love the sound of the Sarad. So I was like, well, let me look at this dang record. And it's got some marks, and it's dirty. It needs to be cleaned, but I couldn't find any cracks. So we're going to play this and see how it goes. We'll play this later today. Get it cleaned up real good. I think it looks like to me like it's going to be fine. And Tom gave this to me for $5. So it probably goes for more, especially if it's not cracked. I didn't see any cracks. And then looking for the experimental stuff, I ran into the country section. Huge country section down there in the basement. And I looked at the Hank Snow records, and this one was still sealed. So it's a 60-year-old record from 1964. So it's brand new shape, and it looks flat. More souvenirs from Hank Snow. The RCA Victor Dynagroove label. Great cover. This guy I really dig. I think my friend Joe reminded me about this guy, and my mom had raved about him for forever. So yeah, and he kind of gets after it against the other sex on a lot of his songs, just so you know. But yeah, Hank Snow, killer, country, great guitarist, good songwriting. So then we went to both of the other two shops that are next to Bob's shop, Hi-Fi Lounge. I think we went there last, and I didn't get anything there, I don't think. And but Brandon pulled out of a box an original first mono, I think, of A Love Supreme. Oh, like minty. It was $375. So that was a pass from both of us, but it was nice to see that record. And it was just in a box on the counter near the front door at Hi-Fi Lounge, this little tiny record store. They have a lot of good gear in the back. I think Dom bought a receiver from them. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. The other record store, I forget the name. Maybe I'll look it up and put it in the description of this video. I think Tom at Bop Shop's kind of pissed that they're there. They had a few good records, but I don't know. Some stuff seemed a little high in price, and it was just a weird little shop. But I found 2 records there, so I can't complain. Ronnie Boykins on ESP disc in the free jazz section. This is the recent reissue pressed in the Czech Republic and reissued by ESP Disc themselves. So I was happy to pick this up. This is a big missing piece in my ESP Disc collection. At one point I will get an original, but they are usually $300 in not so great condition. So, and then of course there's the mispress, which I don't want, but I mean I do, but I don't. So yeah, happy to get this for they had a good price, like 20 some bucks. And then I was really stoked to find this in the punk section, a German copy of Tervit Cadet. This is a 80s Finnish punk legendary band. Tommy, if you're watching, here you go. Pick this up, yeah, 10 bucks. Couldn't be more stoked. One of the best all time from Finland. So yeah, that's the Rochester Dig long video. Might do one more video to end the year showing the best finds. I do have only one record coming at some point. I think I might not get it till next year though, so we'll count it for next year's finds. Hope you're well. Peace.